the NFL on EA Sports as you take a look there at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, PA. Today, we reach Week 15, and we've got a good matchup in store between the Minnesota Vikings and the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's the kicker, Jake Elliott, ready to get this one started. And off we go from Lincoln Financial Field. They start the drive with Cook. And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain, second down. Well, this defense for the Eagles, they were very good in the win over Dallas a week ago.
And I'm eager to see the game plan and try to attack them this week, because when you take it away 4 times through interceptions, what do you do now when you go into a game? Do you decide you can't throw the ball? Do you try and run it more? Or do you tell your quarterback, make sure you see your guys open before you deliver?
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. Jameis to throw it. And he fires one that's intercepted. Picked up by Kaiser White. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Eagles defense gets a pick-6 TD. On for the extra point, Jake Elliott. He's got it, and the Eagles lead it 7-zip. So they throw the pick-6. They'll get another shot at it now as this one's in the air. And this will be returned from deep in the end zone. And they're going to start in a hole as he's brought down at the 11. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Now remember, they were just out here a moment ago and threw the pick-6, so we'll see if they can take better care of the football this go-around.
Yeah, and sometimes, partner, I think it's almost better that you just throw the pick-6 and you come right back out on the field. You're not over on the sidelines dwelling for it for very long. You're not hearing everyone say, hey, you'll get them next time. Hey, don't worry about it. All that stuff just goes right out the window. You're right back out on the field with a chance to atone.
Well, the first play of the drive lost 4. Now they'll look to move it forward here on 2nd and 14. Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson with a pick.
And that's what we've seen from this defense all year long, because they've been so good at finding ways to take the football away. And they just gave us another example right here. A strong defense, that's something you're going to need to rely on come playoff time. And this crew has got one. There's no doubt about that, Brandon.
So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. Hurts a handoff to Sanders. And he'll get this down only to the 18. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
I think if we put together a job description for a middle linebacker, we would start with being able to hold down things in the middle of the line of scrimmage and be able to take on blockers. But how about the guys who can go sideline to sideline and make plays?
Love a guy that can do that. We saw a perfect example of it right there. And he's down inside the 5 at the 4 before he's out of bounds. Sets him up nicely. 1st and goal. It was a pickup of 14.
And remember, this drive started off following the turnover. And they've taken no time working their way down the short field. A nice connection there. And now they're looking at a 1st and goal.
Sanders will get about halfway there as he takes this from the 4 down to the 2. Give him 3 on the gain there. 2nd and goal. He's hit pay dirt a lot this year, but not that time.
Yeah, I'm tracking right there with you. You're exactly right. He's found the end zone plenty of times. No way I can find any fault with the call. He may not have scored there, but of course you're going to give it to him.
Second down and goal. Hurts. A quick throw there going to be batted away and incomplete.
That's a really nice job there by the coverage, understanding that they're in a high-stakes situation. If he doesn't make a play on that ball, there's an excellent chance it ends up either as a touchdown or as a nice gain downfield.
They'd really like to make the short field pay off. We'll see if they can, but this is third and goal. They'll try to run with Sanders. And he's in. Touchdown, Eagles. Miles Sanders. His 11th rushing touchdown on the year. And the Eagles have taken a 2-touchdown lead now. Elliott good on the extra point. And that'll make the score 14-0. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. Well, from deep in the end zone, he's going to bring this out. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And job one here, Charles, just keep possession of the football. 2 drives, 2 turnovers to this point.
You're exactly right, Doctor. Hippocratic oath. First, do no harm. And right now, they're harming themselves on offense.
I like that. No one is mistaking me for a doctor, though. But thank you, Dr. Davis. Can see this quite a bit on running plays where the guy's out wide. A lot of times, though, it doesn't get caught.
You're exactly right, because it's away from the play usually, so a lot of it goes undetected. But I know this will surprise you. I coach some receivers in the offseason. We work a lot on hand placement and blocking downfield. Might want to take that course.
That's a gain of 11. Would have been a first down if not for that penalty moments ago. Zero hesitation that time. That was get ball, throw ball.
Yeah, turn into a smoke route. If you see the coverage off the receiver, doesn't matter whether you call it a run or not. Just take the ball, get it out to him.
Working with 2nd and 5 now. Winston. Another one on this play for Justin Jefferson. Finding room at midfield. Now he's loose down the left sideline. A big play there on the catch and run. 74 yards. I don't think there's anyone who could possibly doubt how fast he could run on the open field. But if there were, he silenced those thoughts there.
And that's the kind of play where you have to kind of catch your breath afterwards. So just give me a second here, because when he shifted into high gear, he was an absolute blur out there. No substitute for speed. We talk about that all the time. The evidence was right there.
Throwing, Winston. It's caught in the end zone. Touchdown, Minnesota. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Vikings have got it back to within a score. Extra point splits the uprights, and that'll make our score 14-7. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken successfully. The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. And they had the touchdown during the last drive, and I'm guessing that you like the balance they had on that last drive.
And I loved it. Forget liking it.
And that's caught inside the 35. Touchdown, Philadelphia. A.J. Brown, 75 yards. And the Eagles are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Elliott good with a PAT, and it's now 21-7. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. He will return this from deep in the end zone. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. A strong showing their last time out. They scored the touchdown, but Charles, they look up and they're still down double digits, so you feel like just to keep pace, this drive probably needs to end in the end zone as well.
Yeah, and I think the best move for them is to not worry about how far they are down on the scoreboard, but to just remember the last drive and how it ended. Go ahead and try and repeat that. Then you can look at the scoreboard and see where this game is.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. To throw, Winston. And Jameis intercepted a 3rd time. Darius Slay with a pick. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Eagles defense gets a pick 6 TD. Elliott on for the extra point. He knocks it through. It's 28-7. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6. And now the kick is away. And that one will bounce out of the back of the end zone. So we will start here at the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And not the first time that they're coming back out off of a turnover, but the last one really hurt. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked up by Kaiser White. Well, CD, when you mentioned earlier about spreading the ball around in this game, I don't think you mentioned the guys in the other uniform. With 4 interceptions here in the first half, and several different guys have picked him off.
Yeah, instead of analyzing what's going wrong with him, throwing the football, while we look at the defense, they came in prepared. An excellent game plan, well scouted, and they're taking it away at almost every turn.
And a really good show of force there as he gets through for 4 tough yards. We haven't seen much from him running the football here in this first quarter.
No, you're right about that. We haven't seen much of him at all so far. They've stacked him up pretty well, but when you're trying to run the football, sometimes you got to play the long game. Keep handing it to him, and some of those runs that aren't working now, they turn into 6, 7, 8, and maybe more later on.
Now they're going to be dealing with a 3rd and 7. Is that one officially a loss of 1?
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Hurts. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. And the Eagles are going to have 1st and goal as they try to finish off this drive with 6 points.
Everything's going right here in this first half, and they've got a good lead, and part of that can be attributed to their success on 3rd downs. This is another conversion here, and they can look to really open things up now.
And he'll take it into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown. Miles Sanders with his 2nd touchdown in this opening quarter, as his guys have opened up a very comfortable lead. Elliott good on the extra point, and the rout is on here in this first half. Now after the touchdown, here's Elliott on to kick it away. And this will be a touchback, so they'll bring it out to the 25. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out, they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back. But make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
An entertaining start to this one. More to come. The Vikings with the football here to begin the second quarter, as they've got it with a 2nd and 10.
Ready? Let's go.
On play action, Winston. And now here's another interception. Darius Slay with a pick.
Well, there's two sides to this coin. I mean, on one side, 5 interceptions now thrown for him. That's tough. But, man, this defense, they have been ball hawking and impressive. But, Charles, let's flip it back over. If you're coaching a quarterback that's...
As Sanders has it poked free. And this belongs to the Vikings. And they had just picked it off to get the football. They fumble it right back. They looked over to both sidelines. A lot of scrambling to find the helmets.
Yeah, you can almost, I mean, you know both sides are screaming sudden change. Because when sudden change happens, that's a defensive call to get back out on the field. There's been a fumble, so an interception, some type of a turnover. You've got to get back out there and play. These guys just want to get to the bench and gather themselves and regroup a little bit. Let's see if these offenses can settle in and start taking care of the ball a little bit better.
2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
I don't think any of us were surprised that they decided to start this drive on the ground after the last 2 drives ended in interceptions.
Unfortunately, though, not a lot going on that first play.
Yeah, I think the anticipation was felt also by the defense.
4 yards on the pickup there, as it'll leave them with a 3rd and about 4 more for a first.
Well, they didn't get a whole lot out of that one, but I think you got to continue to try and run and try and keep a defense honest.
You mean, or else they'll just sit back, dare you to throw it on every down?
Yeah, you get your quarterback hit a lot that way, too.
Now Winston. Got an open man, finding Jefferson. And he gets this one inside the 15, just a yard or 2 shy of the 10. Well, they only needed a small gain on 3rd down. They end up getting over 30 yards.
When they've needed a play this year, he's certainly been the guy to deliver it. As this season has gone on, he's been awfully consistent and sometimes spectacular.
So how about this for field position after the big play? Inside the 15 now as they come up on 1st and 10. And he'll find his way down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
And from the 9, they get this to the 5-yard line. The Eagles call on the extra defensive back here as they prepare for a stop on 3rd down. Now Winston. And my goodness, another interception. The safety, Terrell Edmonds, picks it. And the Eagles are going to get the football here as he gets this up past the 20-yard line.
And that felt like a little extra pressure on that 3rd down attempt, and their mistake cost them points because they're inside the red zone. So you know you've got at least a field goal waiting for you. And in this case, they end up with nothing.
Now, 1st down carry by Sanders, well defensed as they'll hold him to just a couple. 2nd down coming up. This offense, Charles, we've talked about how well they played all season, sitting now at 13-0 and a finish line for a perfect regular season. That's in sight. Some in the media this week were pointing back to the 07 Patriots. Of course, remember, they finished the regular season unbeaten, but they were tested multiple times in that final month plus.
Yeah, but something like 4 of the last 6 wins were one-possession games, and they played like a team that was trying to protect something instead of chasing something. And that's what happens when you have an undefeated record. So it behooves you as a team, get a couple blowouts in there so you get a chance to relax and breathe. But that's much easier said than done.
And very little room to maneuver. He'll get this down to about the 39.
So not a lineman, but the tight end instead this time, drawing the holding call.
And more what you're getting with tight ends are guys who are much more receiver than blocker. They may be willing, but that might not be their thing. Oftentimes, they'll be the ones getting the penalties.
Let's go now.
They're backed up here with a 1st and 20 now after the holding penalty.
Here's a handoff out of the gun.
They find some open field here. Trotty. And he's finally taken down, but not before he reaches the 14. A big play there on the option. Give him 58 yards on the ground.
Well, hello. I mean, it took him a while to get him a rep, but that's quite an introduction to this game.
And not just hello. How about goodbye to the defense as he went past him? Big-time run on his first carry of the game.
A real field flipper there as all of a sudden they've got a first down in the red zone. And this time they're able to bottle him up as they'll stop him at the line of scrimmage. Zadarius Smith able to get him down.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
Head the street. Head the street.
2 minutes remaining in this first half of football.
Ready?
It's a second down run with Sanders. 5 yards. Now it's 3rd and 5.
That's a nice run to get himself back on the horse after his fumble. Nothing spectacular, but a good confidence-building run.
An extra defender in the secondary for the Vikings here on 3rd down. Here's Hurts to throw. Throwing for his running back, and he's got him complete. And they'll be driven back here, losing yardage to the 10-yard line.
So Hurts is off, and on comes Jake Elliott for the Eagle field goal.
From the right hash here, should be an easy one. The kick by Elliott is good, and that will extend their lead even further.
Well, they got the turnover and were able to drive it down, Charles, but ultimately in the end, the defense holds up, and they only come away with the 3 points.
Yeah, they gave up a lot of ground, but when they had to, they settled in and prevented the interception from leading to 6 points. Because you never want to see turnovers turn into any type of points against you, but better to give up 3 than 6.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
As the offense comes out here, Charles, remember they threw the interception last time out, but they were moving the football down the field. Looked like they were going to have a sustained drive that ended in points, but then the pick ensued.
And because of that, there's no way you can call the last drive a success. Yes, there are things to build on because they found some play calls that work. Now, they've got to build another drive and find a way to avoid the turnover the Plague did on the last one.
On 1st and 10, Winston.
Swinging this out.
Now a loose football. The ball comes out, and it's picked up by the Eagles. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. Always costly to cough up that football. These defenders, they become so adept, though, at jarring it free.
Yeah, it's amazing that there aren't more fumbles caused because now, if you're an offensive player, out of line and think you should take the ball to bed with you and just hold on to it. But the bottom line is, no matter how much you try to protect it, these guys are pretty good at finding ways to knock it out.
Ready?
And with time running down, they go down to a knee. So we've reached halftime here in what is quickly turning into quite a rout. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach, welcome back. Halftime over. We are ready for quarter number 3 alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gordon. So the Eagles with the lead, and they're going to get this football first as the third quarter gets underway. Already at the line, this Philly offense set to go.
Well, the first half definitely went their way, and this would seem to be a great opportunity to kind of put this game a little closer out of reach with a score here.
Yeah, and it's a wonderful opportunity for them because if they can add 7 more to their lead before the other guys even see the football, that could be the decisive blow in this game. I think that's how they're eyeing it. That's how they're approaching it.
Yeah, he'll fight for a couple as the tackle is made at about the 32.
In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
And they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
Got his man complete over the middle. It's Smith.
And he's going to have an Eagles first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
On 1st and 10, it's Sanders.
On a determined run there as he's going to take this all the way down near the 40.
12 more yards there and another first down. They've got the lead early here in the third quarter, and runs like that are how they establish that lead in the first half.
I love the fact that you're using the word lead because they are leading from the front, pounding on the defense right now with the running game, and truly establishing themselves here in the second half.
And he's got room. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out.
58 yards rushing for him now with a couple of touchdown runs to boot.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
And he'll run straight into a wall of tacklers at the line of scrimmage. It's second down.
And the big fella stuffed that one up in a big way. I think doubling him has to be a priority because you can't move up to the next level if you don't take care of him first.
From the gun, they'll try to run it.
And again, he's going to be stopped up right at the line of scrimmage. Calling no gain on the run there, and now they'll be looking at a third down.
I think what we just saw their partner was linebacking speed that can trump O-line power. We see that at times because he filled the gap before the offensive lineman could get to the next level and take him on.
On third down, they turn to Sanders. A lot to praise on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive.
They'll run with Sanders. And this time the yards won't come so easy as they'll, in fact, tackle him behind the line. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's second down. They'll go again with Sanders. And he'll take this one inside the 10 down to the 8. It's a pickup of 3, but still a little work to do on 3rd and goal.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness. Think about running the ball here. Not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well. I wouldn't run it here, guys. You might want to try throwing it.
3rd and goal as they look to pour some more salt in the wound.
They'll try to run with Sanders. And this play doesn't go anywhere. Backwards, losing yardage to the 11. And a loss of 3 to bring up 4.
So Hurts is off, and on comes Jake Elliott for the Eagle field goal.
The kick by Elliott is good. And that will extend their lead even further.
And they picked up right where they left off in the first half. First drive after the break, they come away with 3 and increase that lead.
Yeah, and you just want to keep building on that lead, don't you? Whether it's 6 points or 3 points, take everything you can get, keep maneuvering, keep adding to it, keep making it difficult for them to come back.
Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive. Now, they've sort of lost their way, partner. How do they recalibrate and get this proverbial train back on track?
Well, this is where leadership really comes into play. How's the head coach handling it? The offensive coordinator? Sometimes they just make a joke. All right, guys, had your fun? All right.
Throw it out the window.
Yeah, let's get back on track here. And sometimes that'll work just fine.
I guess it's time now to lean on that leadership.
The run only got a yard. Here's 2nd and 9. They run it, and he loses the football a second time. And it's picked up by the Eagles.
Hey, I'm all about defense forcing plays and getting takeaways. But an interception and 2 fumbles in their last 3 offensive possessions.
Time to readjust?
Yeah, you can't just give all the credit to the defense on that. They've got to look in the mirror and take a blame themselves and figure out how to not do it anymore.
Up the middle they go with Sanders.
Andrew Booth making the tackle.
At the end of all that hitting and hollering, it was a 4-yard run, so the offense is going to go back down and feel pretty good about themselves. Defensively, you have to feel okay because you didn't let it turn into a bigger run. But the goal, shut it down for 2 yards or less. That's when you start to feel good about yourselves.
And a strong run there as he'll maneuver his way down inside the 15. 69 yards rushing for him now, and he's only carried the ball 4 times. There's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line.
They'll run with Sanders up the middle, and he'll get about 3 just outside the 10, stopped at the 11.
Well, praise has to go to the guys on the offensive line because they've had a very nice, productive day running the football. How about that poor defensive line? They've been knocked around the entire game, and while they slowed them down on that run, can they continue to do so? Because they haven't had much success throughout this ball game.
And they're not going to get to the line to run another play, so we will switch. And welcome back. We are in the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. And this is a blowout so far as we get set for the 4th quarter. A very one-sided affair. Trying to get out wide, but he's going to be tackled right near the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and they're left with a 3rd and 8. They've called his number a lot this afternoon. You wonder how much tread is left on those tires.
We certainly do, but I always think back to one of my favorite coaches in the NFL, and he used to have a meeting with his running backs every year in the offseason and say, look, as many times as you're going to carry the ball, you should be able to carry it 1 more time, so make sure you get in shape. So where'd all that running room that he had in the first half go? Because it looks like it's drying up a little bit here. Someone made some adjustments, it appears, at least on this drive.
And on 4th down, they come up and take the knee. So we were looking at each other up here in the booth when they went for that, saying, oh, wow, talk about trying to add insult to injury.
Some teams are just like that. You know, some philosophies, some coaches are like, look, when I got a chance to put some more points on the board, I don't care what the situation, I'm going to do it. And they're also the same coaches as a general rule that if someone does it to them, you won't hear people protest out of them. That's just who they are.
Over the middle, complete. That's Haubiller. And he almost gets this to the 30, taken down about a yard shy. That play going for 16 yards to start the drive, 1st down.
Well, I mean, look, obviously there's no 20 or 30-point play in that playbook, but they can try to end things here on a positive note despite trailing big, and that looks like what they're trying to do here by pushing the ball downfield.
Well, let me go with the heavy cliche then, partner. Just control what you can control right now. And all they can control here is how their final plays develop.
It'll be a gain of just a yard, and it'll be 2nd down. One thing I think that's safe to say defensively, the tackling's been really good.
And because of that, it's been very, very hard for them to move the ball because you're not getting the benefits of run after catch. They're tackling them almost on the spot. That means you have to run extra plays, harder to move it.
Throwing again on 2nd down, but this time it's incomplete.
They lead big, and a major part of that has been how they've taken their play to a whole new level this 2nd half. No points allowed since the break, and you can add another incompletion to the total number that they forced in this runaway contest.
And he will not make it back to the line of scrimmage as he's going to be taken down.
Finally held down for the first time this game. Multiple defenders in there to drop him.
The Vikings send out their punter. And surprisingly, this is the first punt of the game for either team. They punted 3 times in the loss last week as he sends this one away. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Eagles will have it, taking over 1st and 10.
Okay, ready?
The Eagles offense set to begin their next drive. We find ourselves here in the midst of a one-sided affair. A lot of fill time down the stretch, Mr. Davis.
So we could talk about food because that is something that you and I
we share that.
We enjoy our time at the table. So maybe the best steakhouses in the city, but in all seriousness, the performances that we've seen this year, we've seen a bunch of great ones, and it's going to be hard to parse who's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it going to be a runner? Is it going to be a thrower? Can a defender finally win it this season? Those are the things that we could probably discuss.
And collectively, this is about as dominant of a performance as you could have hoped for on both sides of the football.
Might have to put it #1 for what we've seen this season. Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
And he is going to have an Eagles first down by a couple of yards as they're able to get 4 there on 3rd and 2.
They're looking to put this game on ice in the 4th quarter, but still not afraid to throw it as they show there.
You want to play the game with confidence, and they have a guy who's in control right now. Their trigger guy, throwing it, they feel just as confident with him doing that as they would if they tried to run the ball and run the clock out.
No room to be had there on the first down run as he's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. He's already fumbled once in this game, and I thought the ball started to jostle there a little bit, but they got to him quickly at the line of scrimmage.
It sure did, and remember, if you're not a very confident runner and you've already dropped it once, if there's traffic around you, the only thing you think about is protecting the football, not gaining yards.
And that'll hurt the average a bit as this time they're able to get him behind the line.
Well, for an inside linebacker, I think you'd agree when I say that he is fast to the football, and he proved that thesis correct on that last play.
And so much of being a good tackler is understanding and taking the right angles to a ball carrier. And that was just tremendous straight line speed there. He eliminated the angles and was able to meet his man behind the line of scrimmage.
Sanders here as they run out of the gun. And he'll be taken down well before the first at about the 36-yard line. Give him 3 yards there as that'll take us to 4th down. The Eagles send out their punter now. Always a good sign when your first punt comes in the 4th quarter. This is taken at the 15. A 46-yard boot, but just 36 following a pretty decent return of 10 yards. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Here are the Vikings now to start their next drive.
We certainly had a sense coming in here that these guys were in for a tough one on the road. That has been how this ball game has played out. They trail big as we continue on now here in this 4th quarter.
So the completion results there in 9 yards, and it'll bring up a 2nd and short.
And we've seen him have success earlier on with the ball in his hands because he is a get it in space and make a play kind of a receiver. But that time, they closed on him quickly and held him to a short gain.
Play action now. Winston. He finds his man, complete. It's Hallmiller. Catch number 40 for him on the year. It's a first down.
A gain of 5. First down, Minnesota.
Here's Winston.
And boy, another ill-advised throw there as that will wind up incomplete.
That's coverage you'd expect to see in a tie game late. Not in a lopsided game like this. They are not letting up.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. A 10th carry in the game. And oh my goodness, he loses it again. And it's picked up by the Eagles. And they will set up shop in enemy territory at the 42-yard line.
And with that kind of a deficit, you can't afford to make any kind of mistakes. But it's been pretty symptomatic of what we've seen all game with them, isn't it? Down this big in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, you'd say an afternoon to forget, absolutely. And they take a knee.
tunnel as this one ends, and understandably so. Not only did they get the win, but, boy, their offense was on fire in this ball game.
And, partner, I have no idea what the top speed is on one of those high-end sports cars. What's the top gear you can get into? This offense, they certainly were there in this one, huh? Everything clicking for them in this contest, the kind of performance that they're going to cherish.
So for Philadelphia, they move ever closer to the perfect regular season as they run things to 14-0. And they will hit the road next week to take on the Indianapolis Colts. Meanwhile, for the Vikings, their slim playoff hopes are gone now as they fall to 5-9. And they'll have a chance at redemption next week at home against the Los Angeles Rams.